Hello, 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 hello. Can I get a microphone, please? Blah, 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 blah. Hello, hello. 1, 2, 3, 4. Woo, 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 woo. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Awesome. Hello, hello. Woohoo! 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. I'm talking on it right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello, 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 hello. 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Wah, 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 wah. Hi. Hello, hello, hello. We had sound before. Hello. Woo! And God said, let there be sound. This is exciting. All right. Welcome to the Suburban Collection Showplace, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We have 16 amazing fights on this card tonight. 4 of them amateur fights, and it is brought to you by TXC MMA Undisputed. This is Legends number 6. Exciting stuff. This is online right now, so you can Facebook, tweet, text, Instagram, GoLiveSportscast.com, GoLiveSportscast.com, and have everyone around the world watching as well. The first 4 amateur fights, we kick things off with a girl fight, which is exciting stuff. Yeah! These guys, these ladies, I should say, ready to do battle tonight. We follow the first girl fight with an amateur featherweight champion, an amateur welterweight championship, and then an amateur light heavyweight championship. So these guys are going for blood in this first part of the show. These fights tonight are brought to you by PatinoDiet.com, OaklandTactical.com, Chris Trainer and Associates, the law firm, and also Stephanie and Joe Battaglia. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Big round of applause for all our sponsors tonight. My name is Kara Rowe. I'll be your announcer for this evening. Also will be commentating with my partner, the Professor Steve Lafrate. He does have a black belt in Judo and Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. We kind of know what we're talking about, so everything will be okay on that end. Judges in charge, Ann Morrell, Steve Lafrate, and Don Cruz. And our referee, the superstar pro fighter, Vicious Van Swerden. Yeah! All right, we're ready to kick things off. Once again, you can see this on GoLiveSportscast.com. First up, making her way to the cage, fighting out of the red corner. Put your hands together for Amiee Masters.
All right, fight fans, welcome to the undercard of this TXC broadcast, bringing you the best in mixed martial arts action, professional and amateur, in the Midwest and beyond. Joining us in this TXC cage, Amiee Masters, fighting out of Howell, Michigan. The legendary Scorpion Fighting System gym, coached by James Gray. Wasting no time making our way cage side here. referee Brandon Gallo. And our first fighter will make her way into the cage.
Making her way to the cage, fighting out of the blue corner. Put your hands together for Malky Berlin. This fight is brought to you by PatinoDiet.com. To my left, fighting out of the red corner, she weighed 120.5 pounds. She stands 5 foot 1 inch tall. She comes to us with a record of 3 wins, only 1 loss. She is trained by James Gray out of SFS. Put your hands together once again for Amiee Masters. And to my right, fighting out of the blue corner, she weighed 110 pounds, stands 5 foot 4 inches tall, comes to us with an undefeated record of 1 win, no losses. Trained by Darren Cruikshank, Dean Cruikshank, Kara Rowe, and Jason Fisher. She is out of Michigan Top Team. Put your hands together once again for Malky Berlin. Your referee in charge, Vicious Vance Swearden.
All right, fight fans, Vance Swearden about to get us underway. When we get started, Amiee Masters fighting out of the red corner, black Nike shorts. Malky Berlin fighting out of the blue corner, teal shorts. Quick.
You know, Amiee coming in with a little bit of the experience, but Malky, you know, trains hard.
Quick to the clinch on the side of the cage. You know, Amiee certainly didn't want to stand at range and get picked apart.
You know, and that's where, you know, you don't want to end up going straight back with someone that's looking to take you down, you know, back right to the cage.
Oh, nice outside leg trip there. Careful she doesn't get rolled through. Masters looks to get her hips down and start to consolidate her position quickly into half guard.
You know, this is where Amiee wanted to go from, you know, the start of the fight, just bum rush her, get her to the ground, you know, where her strength is.
She's got to settle in a little more and tighten up that position. Doesn't want to leave something behind. Malky doing a good job keeping those knees nice and high. Those hips are completely mobile. Amy's got to be careful. She's getting a little high, Kara, with the difference in length between these two. She can find herself getting rolled right onto her back, which would bring Malky Berlin up into a mount.
Well, that's
now
what
opening that guard and looking to start finding some submissions. Looking for a solid triangle armbar attempt here, Kara. And I'll tell you what, Amiee Masters looks absolutely stunned. I didn't expect this out of somebody out of the Scorpion Fighting Systems camp in Howell, but she's in a lot of trouble right now.
Well, and she didn't expect Malky to come, with some jits. She expected her to do striking. Working with the Crookshanks too, myself, more striking, but
how
she's
could she
solid
not
on the
with all
ground
the
too.
high-level pros they got out of it?
Yes,
nice transitional work
right
by
away.
Malky Berlin. I don't think we saw a
Absolutely
single
fantastic.
punch thrown out of this.
First round submission, exactly, where you want to play it. They anticipate you standing and banging, and you beat them at their own game. That you can't ask for anything better than that.
Beautiful transition work, working the triangle, the armbar, back and forth, back and forth. Not a whole lot of defense from Amiee Masters. I got to wonder if she just didn't get a hold of Malky Berlin and realize that that girl is incredibly strong. All right, fight fans, that first fight in the books. Let's go into the cage. Kara, KO Rowe with your official TXC decision.
All right, fight fans. Your winner with 1 minute and 39 seconds in the first round by armbar. Give it up for Malky Berlin. Just quickly, Malky, I know you were looking to stand and bang, but you beat her at her own game. How does that feel?
I guess I know jiu-jitsu. Watch out, girls.
It was a lot of it up and down. The fight was off, the fight was on. You found out a couple hours ago the fight was back on again. How tough was that to get your mind around that?
It was definitely tough, but I came here to fight. I wanted to fight. I've had too many girls pull out, and I'm not going to pull out last minute. I'm going to show up. And I got to thank my team for that, though. I have so many people here for me, and I do get nervous, and they all make me feel way better. So thanks to my teammates, my coaches, Kara, Darren, Dean, Jason, everybody. If I forget anybody, I'm sorry, but I really appreciate all your help. You guys are my family, so thank you.
How do you feel right now?
Surreal. I don't know. I didn't think I was fighting this morning, so.
Well, now you're 2-0. Congratulations, Malky.
Thank you. I feel like.
Awesome job. Malky Berlin moves to 2. All right, fight fans, we're ready for our second fight of the evening. This is for the Amateur Featherweight Championship. Coming to us first fighting out of the red corner. He is the challenger this evening. Put your hands together for Michael Winget. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, the champion. Put your hands together for George Simos.
George Simos, 22 years old, 5 foot 11 inches tall. Fighting out of Final Round Infused MMA. 7-1 as an amateur. He is our reigning champion. Gonna put that belt on the line. Says he plans on turning pro soon. Of course, this fight will dictate the next steps in his path. Talking to him before the fights, he said he wanted me to mention that he has a wonderful mother and father. They own a business, so it's easy to get the house that I want. Says they're very supportive of him. Sorry, I couldn't read his writing. Almost got knocked out by Ben Lagman as he made his way to the final check cage side.
Fight fans, this is for the TXC featherweight title. To my left, fighting out of the red corner, he weighed 143 pounds and 6 feet tall. He comes to us with a record of 16 wins, 8 losses. He is trained by Chad Kuhn and Vance Swearden. He is out of Big Rapids, Michigan. Put your hands together once again for Michael Winget. And to my right, the champion, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed 146 pounds, stands 5 foot 11 inches tall. He comes to us with a record of 7 wins, only 1 loss. He is trained by Adlai Cleveland, Don Richards, and Ben Lagman. Out of Troy, Michigan, put your hands together for George Simos. Fighters to the center of the ring for fighter instructions.
Gentlemen, this is for the amateur belt. We went over the instructions backstage. Do you have any questions? Touch hands and come out fighting.
All right, fight fans, when this TXC championship bout gets underway, Michael Winget fighting out of the red corner. Blue compression shorts. George Simos fighting out of the blue corner. Gray fight shorts, trimmed in blue.
All right, here we go, right off the bat. You know, George got right in there, not backing down, sitting in the pocket and keeps coming forward. Okay, he's good balance, walking him down.
Nice check there. He's very focused, Kara.
Oh, nice one, too, by Winget, though. Coming right forward, dropping the leather. But you know what? You don't even see George flinch on that at all.
No, he just keeps coming forward, although now he's eating a few shots, Kara.
But, you know, it doesn't seem to have stymied him so far, but just gets dragged to the ground by Michael Winget.
Well, you know what he did that saved him when he went to the ground? He sort of got a little bit manhandled by Winget, but he kept driving forward, had a chance to finish that single. Now in side control, Winget needs to let go of that choke. Looking to set the Von Flue. Winget doing a good job getting the guard. For a second there, George Simos looked like he was setting up a Von Flue.
And you see Michael very active from the bottom as well. Still trying to sneak in those little, you know, dirty boxing punches.
Nice high knees, can open his guard easily, keeps his hips nice and mobile that way. Doing a good job of firing, and he's not really letting Simos get anything going here so far, Kara.
You know, and just
nice left from the bottom.
You know, and lefts from the top, the bottom, lefts from the top. This guy's really active in this position as well.
Turned for an armbar, missed it.
You know,
does a nice job of transitioning in the other direction. Very active hips from the bottom. Got to be careful Simos doesn't pass his guard.
I was kind of surprised that George didn't stand back up, though, because he did so well on his feet.
Well, at this point, his arm is sort of trapped there. Got to be careful he doesn't get his head too low, get pushed right into a triangle. Winget very active from the bottom, even though he's in an inferior position at this point. Now finally getting his hips nice and low to seal off that guard attempt, but then bringing him right back up. George Simos, he's having a little trouble with Winget. Nice movement from the bottom. Winget is just very active. Now going to come out the back door. Got to be careful he doesn't leave that arm behind. Great job at transitioning. Kara, I thought for a second he was going to pull out and stand up. Simos able to get that right arm hooked, but has his left arm trapped for his trouble. Winget needs to stay nice and tight at this point. He's given up a little bit of space there. That's going to make the hips of Simos all that more active. And I got to tell you, for as busy as Winget was from the bottom, he's not busy at all from the top, Kara. Carefully he doesn't give up the triangle here. Now going to step across, needs to keep circling. 10 seconds.
Time.
This first round going to come to an end in a stalemate here.
Well, I think George a little bit surprised at the movement of Michael when they were on the ground. I mean, he kept transitioning, kept moving, kept firing from the bottom. I think Michael brought a little bit more to the table than George expected.
Oh, absolutely, and he does a great job of staying small and tight from the bottom, which turns him into a ball and makes it very difficult for you to move from the top, because you just wind up getting rocked and rolled all over the place.
You know, I think George does such a great job on his feet, walking his man down. I think he'd be great to stay on his feet, you know, because Michael looks kind of crafty on the ground, and he's so long and lanky. So it's hard to get a lot of different things off.
And this is not a good sign.
No, George Simos losing a
popping
contact.
a contact in there, a fresh one. So there's an expended contact floating around the cage floor somewhere. Seconds are out. Round two about to get underway here. Kara, what are your thoughts on that first round? How do you score that?
Oh, boy. I think George dominated the majority of that round just by a slight edge. Maybe judges might give it to slight edge because he's a champion, but I just don't think George did and Michael did enough damage. That's all.
Nice spin and a hook kick, but not knowing how to finish it up.
Good accuracy, and then he returns the favor. You know, I'd love to see these two stand. I mean, they're fun to watch standing up. Hands, feet.
The war of attrition on its feet, though, definitely favors Simos. Winget needs to get in tight.
Well, you're seeing Michael turn southpaw, and I mean, a lot of people try and switch up, but they're just not as accurate. They think it's going to throw the other person off, but it throws you off as well. So his chin's high in the air, and Simos just needs to take advantage of that. Drop that 3-2 down the pipe, you know, and call it a night. But you got to step to the outside of that leg.
These guys are pawing and kicking at each other, mostly ranging stuff at this point.
Well, you saw George. He hesitated when Michael turned southpaw, kind of not sure how to step into it. You know, Michael's good. He does these little half-step backs that's kind of taking the range off of George Simos. Oh, he should have fired when he was right sitting in the pocket, and George kind of had stopped for a second.
I'll tell you what, I think Simos was as confused as we were by what he was watching,
Yeah.
but Winget absolutely able to close the distance because of that.
Yeah, and I mean,
Momentary
he could have fired some shots because George was kind of just looking at him, what was going on.
Well, that's a one-off for Winget. He will not get a second chance at that.
Michael doing a good job hollowing out his body when those kicks come because he takes everything off those kicks. Or knees, I mean.
And I don't know if I agree with Simos taking the easy takedown there. I think he was winning at range, and that's where he needs to fight this fight. He saw himself in a little bit of, I don't want to say trouble, but he really didn't have an answer.
Just confusion a little bit, it
Yeah,
seemed.
he didn't have an answer for Winget in the first round, and I don't know that he's going to have one now. Stepping into half guard. Winget doing a good job still of just not taking any damage at this point.
Oh, nice.
Bait and switch there from Simos.
And he did a great job of preventing that sweep, too.
Absolutely.
Oh, he had a beautiful position, but I'm telling you, Michael on the ground, on his back, is so slippery.
Well, he never, if you notice, he's never on his back. He stays nice and round, and that makes him very mobile. He doesn't keep a lot in contact with the mat. He's able to move in both directions. Now looking to pop out. Last round he did that and he came back to his feet. This round he might be a little fatigued, Kara. I don't know if conditioning's an issue for him yet, but it's starting to look like it. Both of these guys, again, in a bit of a stalemate. Brandon Gallo going to start thinking about standing them up and getting them back to their feet, which definitely favors the current champion, George Simos, at this point.
I think when you just see them so active, they're sort of reluctant to stand them back up, even if nothing's happening. 10 seconds in round number 2 to the end of the round.
Couple of shots there.
But that's what George needs to do, keep stealing the rounds, and he stole that round. I mean, because Michael did a few good things on his feet, you know, so.
I'll tell you what, Brandon
tight.
Gallo got in there a little bit late, and Michael Winget is lucky that George Simos is just a gentleman, because he could have landed one or two really hard punches before the referee got in there after that horn sounded.
What a great title fight, though, to get a chance to see guys at this level. And it's not a guy that's a champion coming in and walking over a challenger. It's a guy that's actually challenging the champion, so it's
I
great.
want to see these guys get in here and just start letting them fly, because neither of them at this point really getting behind their punches when they're on their feet, Kara.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens sometimes when you're front foot heavy. And typically, when I've been watching them, they're a little bit front foot heavy, so you can't transfer the weight from your back foot over and your back hip over. So they got to sit on that back leg a little bit more and put that through their shots.